Right
then, welcome to our next episode of Paul and Carole Meets, and today we have the lovely Innocents Abroad with us. So it's Bob and Holly, and we're...
Bob's the one on the left there.
And we're sat in our hotel in Las Vegas, enjoying a fabulous weekend with these guys, and we thought we'd sit down and go through a few questions so that you can meet them and find out what makes them tick. So, over to you, Paulie Morgan. Fire
Over
away.
to me. Right now, start off nice and easy for you.
Yes.
What was your first ever cruise?
Oh.
Go ahead.
So
Together?
Well, doesn't matter, no.
Well, our first one together was 1990.
The dates. For some reason,
Yeah,
they're
he'll
in
know
my...
the dates. He always
For
knows
some
the dates.
Thanksgiving of 95, November 1995, on Monarch of the Seas, which is now office furniture in a log of turkey, I think.
Yes.
But my first cruise was as a wee lad with my parents on Sitmar, Fair Sea in 81.
Wow.
So, how about...
And your first cruise?
That was with him. Yeah, that's the first time I'd ever cruised.
Oh, right.
On Monarch of the Seas. So,
Okay.
yeah, he had a head start on me.
Yes, so I've been cruising for years.
Yeah, I was still at school, Bob, when you were...
Yeah, okay.
I wasn't. I'd left school a whole year then. How many cruises so far?
What? You don't have that off the top of your head?
I have my notes. 49 49 under our belt that have actually been sailed. Few more planned.
Yeah, how many plans?
17.
Why are you like... I'm going through my questions.
Sorry, but I thought it was
So,
naturally-
23 and 24 are just going to be complete madness. 24 is going to be a lot busier than 23.
Yeah.
And it's a
lot
blessing.
of
It's always try to stay humble about it. It's a blessing to have. But we have 5 this year, and then 11 booked between April and August of next year. It's just going to be
It's
mad.
mad. We were talking about
Just
it
mad.
earlier, weren't we? And it's you've got an awesome summer coming. So,
This isn't one of my questions, but cruising with anybody nice later in the year?
I think in November we go back for our third Azamara cruise. There might be. Oh, I know the hotel director on that ship, so he'll be pretty cool.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice
If
for you.
anybody shows up, we know. You know.
You might say hi.
What is, now this is one we always get asked and we can never answer, what's your favourite cruise ship ever?
Ooh. Yeah, how do you answer this? Like, who's your favorite kid, you know?
yeah. If you
I
could
have an
cruise on one cruise ship for the rest of your life now, which ship would you pick? Isn't it? That's the sort of...
I have an idea. Oh, that's a tough question. I have an idea what you would pick. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I guess. I'm really partial to Viking. I just like it. I like the feel of it. Even though I know their ships are very, very similar to each other, the way it's laid out, the venues they have, I just feel very comfortable in
Well,
them.
what's your favorite ship, not cruise line?
Well, I guess I've
I'm
only
glad
been on
somebody's paying
2.
attention, Bob.
We've been on 2 different Viking Ocean. One was Orion, and one was Venus. I think Venus because
Had the observatory. And the bits are a little bit different.
Orion had a theater in the middle of their observation lounge that took away a lot of space. It was cool to have the theater, but I think the space being open was more to my liking. Yeah.
Cool. And you, Bob?
One cruise ship in particular. Seabourn Ovation.
And is that the one you've just been on to Antarctica?
No, that was Venture. That's not actually my favorite ship. I mean, itinerary, completely different answer. But no, I wouldn't be my favorite ship for a couple of reasons. But the one in that fleet, Ovation's kind of dear to me. It's just for several reasons. But it's not a cruise line we go on very often. But that particular ship is just beautiful. I liked it. So.
Yeah. I think Bob and Holly just back from Antarctica, and their series is fantastic. So make sure you take a look at that. We'll be sharing all their social links on YouTube coming up shortly.
Why are you looking at me? Is this going to be about football?
No, they can later. What's the best meal you've ever had on a cruise?
Manfredi's. Big ass.
You can say
You can say that.
You can say big ass. That's a measurement. It's like in England we work with feet, meters, and big ass.
Not knowing if this will be on the cutting room floor or not, a big piece of meat at the Italian eatery on Viking, actually. It's wonderful. You couldn't finish it. It's good. It's really, really, really good. And free. It's a specialty dining with there's no extra charge.
Yeah.
And you?
That's a tough one. Yeah, I think my Manfredi's is probably up there.
You're just copying me.
Yeah, I'm copying you. But I mean, there's been some great specialty restaurants, but we always find ourselves going back to Manfredi's when we're on Viking. So I would
That's
say
a tough question because, like, there's such a variety out there. There's particularly specialty restaurants.
Although Tamarind's probably a good second.
Tamarind on Holland America. Yeah, we loved that.
Yeah, that was really
Absolutely
good.
excellent. That was our favourite on New Amsterdam, wasn't
That's
it?
close.
It was
That's close.
Very good. Favorite cruise destination?
I think mine would have to be Venice. I really like Venice. No, granted, we usually go on the shoulder season, so I know it's not the
I
heat
don't know
of
what
the
that means, so
summer.
you'll have to explain that.
So like usually, right before summer or right after summer, so spring and fall where there's less tourists and the weather is a little bit more mild.
Yeah.
So
We avoid the half term that you might go by.
Yeah. So April-ish, late April, May is a good time
Just
to
like
be
the
there,
season.
and then October time frame.
If we can.
If we can.
Next
yeah.
year, notwithstanding.
Venice is beautiful, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
we were lucky
it's
enough to
very-
be on Thompson Celebration because a lot of ships can't go there now, can they?
Right.
So we've been blessed that we could actually get into Venice. So,
Yeah.
what about you then, Bob? Favourite destination?
Are we talking about specific port or just in general?
Whatever comes to your head that you.
Greek Isles, hands down.
Yeah.
I love Greece.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, Greece is amazing.
It's interesting because we've only in our Paul and Carole Meets, we've only done. You're only our second non-British
Yeah.
people.
Vloggers, yeah.
And when we spoke to the Cruising Canucks, their favourites was also European based.
Yeah.
And I suppose because we're lucky enough it's so close for us anyway,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we can fly to Greece and be there in 3 hours. And we do love Greece, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
In 3 hours, I can be in Kansas.
Yeah. But when,
Is that like Greece?
No.
Not even close.
No.
but when people ask if I was to think to myself, I wouldn't be thinking anywhere in Europe. And then when people say Greece or Venice, you think, oh.
Well, I will often say Adriatic, which
Yeah.
is exactly that, isn't
Yeah.
it?
But it is
So,
it's fantastic.
yeah.
We're very lucky, really.
We are.
Very much.
Yeah.
Right, bucket list cruise, money and time, no object.
You've probably done lots of those now, haven't you?
Well,
Because
not lots. I mean, Antarctica was definitely one.
yeah,
Is it the Gloucester Sharpness Canal?
Yeah.
It is. It is. So where you can go from the Atlantic through the Bristol Channel to Gloucester and
On the Severn Princess.
on the Severn Princess. No, you can go.
No.
You can go on the Jimmy D. It's a 1985 tender you have right by your steel bridge. Yeah,
Oh.
fact.
We were showing Jimmy Dean on the TV this morning, wasn't it? What was that?
That's the man who makes the
Sausage?
breast breakfast biscuit.
Jimmy Dean.
Ah, we're fascinated with American television. It's really bizarre.
Fun,
No, we're fascinated with British TV. We love watching.
fun, useless fact. You're in Las Vegas. Jimmy Dean was actually in the Bond movie in 1971 that took place in Las Vegas.
Oh wow.
Was that
Diamonds Are
Diamonds Are
Forever.
Forever? Yeah.
Oh wow.
Completely unrelated to
I'll
travel.
have to
Back
watch.
to the
So
script.
how old is he then?
Yeah, I don't know how old he is now.
This is like one of our lives where we start off on one subject and then we're talking about Angel's Delight or the best sandwich you've ever had. So we didn't expect that.
But anyway, back to you.
What is your next cruise?
We're going to, in about 2 weeks' time, or I don't know when this will air, but in the middle of May, we're going from Japan to Vancouver, a Trans-Pacific, and it'll be our first time on Cunard. So,
Exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So how fast Carol's now editing videos? They did that cruise 6 months
No.
ago. So you sort of answered this question earlier, but I'll get more specifics now. How many cruises do you currently have booked?
17.
Oh! That's the most. I think
my
you're
gosh.
the winner chicken dinner. Yeah.
So in about 5 years' time, we can add up when we say to people how many cruises have you got booked, and we'll know that Bob is the biggest show off of them all.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Right. What motivated you to start your YouTube channel?
You take that.
Well, Bob has always videotaped our vacations. I mean, ever way back, even before cruising started, he just liked to videotape for for us to look back on later. And about 5 or 6, maybe 7 years ago, we started using YouTube as a place to start planning our trips. Getting some information about ports or whatever. And we were going on a new class of ship for us, and we wanted just to get an idea of what the ship was going to be like. And so we're searching, and there really wasn't much out there, and the one that was out there was kind of like you got seasick even before you got on the boat.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of all over the place. And so I kind of turned to Bob and said, you're going to videotape anyway, why don't you just pull out that little section of the ship tour and put it out there, and maybe it'll help others and get some, a little bit better content, at least at that time. And that's kind of how it got started. It started with that, and the first time we did a full series was South America, I think.
We did the video. We did that video just to be out there. I had stuff on YouTube, but as a proper channel doing expressly for YouTube, a certain standard, certain content, that would have been January of 20, and who knew 2 months later, right?
Yeah.
But that was our Ozamara series for South America was the first proper YouTube branded content, and then we just 2 years on.
This is how wise Bob is. My next question was, when was this? And you've already answered it, because it was January of
2020. Yeah, just before the.
Yeah, that was a fun time to build a channel.
No cruising.
Yeah.
Ah, well, you've done incredibly well then, haven't you, really, since then? So that's brilliant.
Right. I love, and this isn't even for the purposes of the video, I love how you, when we first started watching you, Carol's like, oh, you've got to watch this. And I love how you can see that you love doing what you're doing, and it is more of almost like a scrapbook of your adventures, rather than, there's lots of information in there.
Yeah.
But I feel like that you're making it as much for you and Holly and maybe family as you are for putting it out there. And that's what I love about it, and you've got a lovely narrative, and I'm glad now that Holly's come into it more and starts talking as well, which is wonderful.
Yeah. People don't want to hear me, they'd rather hear her anyway.
Well, I'm not going to go into that. But do you feel that your content has changed since you started? And if so, how?
You want to take that?
I think it has. With anything, I think you kind of grow and find what works better, or what once you watch it back, you can say, oh, I could have done that little tweak, and so you grow.
Constantly.
You constantly change things around, or maybe I lingered on that a little too long, so I'll shorten it up. And so it's always learning. You're always learning what works and what doesn't, and what looks good. And I mean, Bob does such a great job with, the photography of it all, and piecing together and making a story out of what we just did. So yeah, I think that just time in learning how to do things better.
I think the videography of their videos is some of the best out there.
Oh, totally.
I think the actual footage, sometimes I can look at it and think, I feel like I'm watching some sort of BBC documentary. Honestly, it is that good, I believe.
And I think that's where you and Carol do a fantastic job on all the video in, and obviously me and Holly were the eye candy.
You're the pretty face eye candy. Well, that's true. Cinematography and we're visual storytellers. That's our thing. And trying to tell a story visually. And yes, there's narrative and there's text, but we don't very often get in front of the camera. I want to be able to the viewer to look, and it's very first person to me. You should be able to feel the engagement of a culture, because we always are about who did we meet, what crewman, what person selling root beer in Talon. It's horrible, by the way. Don't ever buy Talon root beer. But that personal engagement is important, and showing that visually so that people can watch it and feel like they're there and engaging that culture. That's kind of what we try to be about.
Yeah. No, you do it really, really well.
Totally.
Yeah.
how do you deal with, and I'm sure you don't get any, nasty or negative comments?
If it's personal, I may elect to block if they keep coming back. Generally, I don't respond to someone who's personal. If it's somebody that disagrees, like, hey, your music is too loud, or whatever the negative comment is, okay, thank you, I acknowledge them. I might do a thumbs up on YouTube, because their opinion that may differ from mine doesn't make it invalid. Only if somebody gets outright nasty do I just delete it. And if they come back and repost like a second time, then yeah, I'm probably going to take that step of just outright banning them and putting them in the naughty box, if you like.
Yeah.
But if they're not personal, I'll allow the comments, because they should have a voice too.
One piece of advice that you would give to young and aspiring YouTubers?
To use the American vernacular, don't be afraid to suck. Put your content out there and always try to improve. Don't do sensational tabloid-esque thumbnails of, hey, look at me. That's my advice. It works for people, it's popular. But my advice is to just be true about your content. What do you want it to say about you? What's the story? For me, it's always about the story. So is it just for entertainment? Have at it. Are you trying to tell a story? Is that story coming through? Because you want to be able to reach your audience. That's what I would say. But just keep plugging away and always try to improve.
Yeah, good advice.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Right, we're going away now from cruising.
Okay, all right.
And I'm sorry, Holly, I'm gonna have to. This is more for Bob, really.
Okay.
So, but you can jump in. We've got some amazing sports in Britain called rounders and netball.
Okay.
I wondered if in America you have anything similar to that.
Yes, in America, where we invented actually baseball, and you guys claim to have invented rounders. Yeah. And I might be among the very few Americans who know that football is properly football, not soccer. You'll never hear me call it soccer. Rounders, yes, I have heard of it. We go to lots of rounders games.
We are fans.
So for anybody who doesn't know, Bob's a Man United fan. So he said he follows football, but obviously he doesn't. Do you think at some point you'll adopt maybe a good British team?
Well, yeah, I think there are plenty of teams in the Premier League, and then there's
you're just mean.
there are plenty of professional teams in the Premier League, and there's also Tottenham.
Yeah, but I think we're digressing a little bit now.
Well, listen, I got another 50 of these. Right, Bob and Holly, where can people out there find you on the social medias?
So we have our YouTube channel is Innocents Abroad, INNOCENTS ABROAD, and then we also have a Facebook group page. So we'd love to have you join that, and we can discuss other, content and what we're doing and what's going on. And then of course we're also on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah. So we definitely recommend that you check out these guys, because they've just got some fabulous content, and not just that, they're just a lovely couple that we're just so blessed that we met in the online, and we met last year for the first time, wasn't it, in person?
Yeah,
and every year now it's going to become a regular thing. So we definitely recommend that you check them out, and check out the description to find all the links there.
So that's your lot. Thanks ever so much for watching. We've got a whole series of Paul and Carole Meets, so you can maybe watch one of those episodes now.